Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome to Questions with Clark, a show I try and do every Sunday for you guys. As long as I get the questions in, I will answer them for you guys. So welcome to, I think, episode 3 of Questions with Clark. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad you guys are asking questions, and I can answer them for you. And at some point, I'm going to figure out how to do this live. But because I use 2 different screens, it's a little bit iffy. I'm not quite sure how to do it, but I want to figure it out so we can go on YouTube live and just do this straight up live. We can join, connect, and you guys can answer those questions live, and I can answer them for you. But for right now, you guys ask the questions. I will come on here and I will answer those questions for you guys. So let's get started on this stuff. And I do want to say, guys, like before we get started, and I've been saying in a lot of my videos, if you guys give this stuff time, if you give it 6 months, if you give it a year, and I know that sounds like a long time, but give it the time. I didn't trade the Strat for about 6 months before I actually started trading with real money. You know, I wanted to make sure it worked. I wanted to make sure it worked. And to me, even after about 4 months, I was pretty sure that I was confident with it, and I knew what was happening, but I didn't know everything about the Strat. I knew the majority of what I thought I needed to know, and even broadening formations. I learned broadening formations realistically after I started trading with real cash in the Strat, because it was something that I felt was above where realistically I needed to be at that point. And as long as I knew the basics of it, I knew I could learn everything else as I went along. But the basics meaning the entries, the exits, how to trigger, how to target, the different setups, and so on and so forth. And as long as I figured, as long as I knew that I would be able to pick up the rest of it as we go and learn as I went. And hopefully you guys are doing the same thing. Don't take all of it at once and try and learn everything at once. It's baby steps. When I think about when you're reading with your kids start with there is a dog, there is a cat, there is a cow, right? They don't start with full-on sentences with exclamation marks and question marks. It's simple sentence structure. And that's what you guys should be doing with the Strat, is taking those simple setups and learning those. And then when you get confident in reading that stuff, so to speak, then you can move on to bigger. Then you can move on to a grade 2 level or a grade 6 level, or you know what I mean? Like constantly moving up the chain and moving up those steps to become better at doing this. So, but give yourself time. Give yourself time to learn it, okay? Let's get into the questions. That's my little rant, my little story. So let's get into the questions. I did have one. Now, I have these questions pre-put on here, but someone asked if I can show a step-by-step trade with visual examples of picking a contract, getting filled, setting a stop, closing the contract. It's the execution itself, not the triggers and targets or stop losses that I'm stumbling on. So the triggers and the targets are the execution. So when it triggers, you should be, so for me, I have it on, and I'll explain it a little later on in the video, but I have 2 screens. One screen has my trading view set up on it. The other screen has my brokerage set up. So I'm watching the candlesticks on trading view, and I have the trade set up on my brokerage, so that when we trigger on the candlesticks, I'm clicking buy on my brokerage. I already have the trade set up. I've already got, whether it's a call or a put, my strike price, I've already got that set up because I know where it's going to trigger or where it should trigger. And then when I'm looking for targets or stops, again, I'm watching TradingView and I have that sell order ready to go on my brokerage firm. So that's basically how it is. Now, it's hard for me to record it because I can't record the 2 screens at once. So that's the best way I can explain it. And I do kind of break it down later on in the video. So that was MS Lewis 620, part of the Discord, and I believe they're a gold member as well. Wait for the end, a little later on in the video. I think I can help answer that question a little bit more in depth with some visuals. So the next one I've got is from Marlon B, and he says, can I set a stop loss and take profit based on percentage? What percentages would you recommend? I'm only trading SPY for now. So yes, you can. The way we try and teach or show with the Strat is to let the candles or let the target stop you out. And there's multiple different ways that you can let those candles and you can let those targets do that. And it doesn't have to be the same for every single person. Can you use percentages? I guess you can. Like at most, and I guess I don't think I would take profit based on a percentage. I would take a stop loss based on percentage. Especially if we're trading off of like a 30-minute chart, let's say, and I'm getting into like minus 15, 20% territory, I'm cutting that thing because that's way too big. 20% plus is way too big of a loss for me. So yes, you can use a percentage-based stop if you'd like. Would I use that for profit? I may. And again, if you're looking at a 30-minute chart or a 1-hour chart, and depending on what you're seeing and what the scenario is, yes, I may use a percentage, but there's not a number. Most times I want those targets or the triggers or the candlesticks to stop me out. Okay, I don't really look for if I've hit 25%, then I start scaling out or getting out. Or if I hit 10% or 20%, because let's say I tell you it's 15%, but if you don't let the candlestick stop you out or the target stop you out, that 15% trade could have been a 50% trade. And if you're taking it based off of 10%, I mean, I guess you can do that. You can take 10% every day if you'd like, but you're likely going to miss some of those big run-ups. So that's my opinion on it. I'm an expert in my opinion, and you can take it for what you will, but I normally don't use percentages as a stop loss. I use triggers, I use targets, I use candlesticks. So whether I hit that target and reverse through it and I'm at 5% or 500%, I don't care. If it's 5%, it's 5%, and I move on to the next one because there's thousands of trades available to us every single day. Okay, next up, Stephanie12 says, would the SPY 30 and 30 work for QQQ2 or as well? Yes, Stephanie. I mean, that 30 and 30 works on any. You can use it on any ticker. I mean, it's part of the strat, and basically all it is just a reversal into time frame on the hourly and daily. So you can use it on any ticker. You can use it on NEO. You could use it on, I don't know, pick something, QQQ. You could use it on Apple, on, I don't even know if BlackBerry has a ticker symbol anymore, Costco, CAT, anything. You can use it on anything. If you're talking about the SPY 30, the 30-minute chart that we work, again, yes, you can. You can use it on anything, and it's part of the strat. So the strat works on everything. Whether you want to use it on Forex or crypto, it doesn't matter. It does work on everything. So thank you, Stephanie, for the question. So T2G times MLM. I don't know what that means. Let me know what that means. I'm curious. He asked something on the Discord. Someone kind of answered it, and then I asked him about it. And he basically said, I lost my trade in the 30, but I guess my question would be, when do you trade on the 30-minute and when do you go lower like the 15? Because today I kind of noticed the 30-minute 2-2 continuation was trash, but the 15-minute 2-2 continuation was awesome off the open. And that's not a question I can answer, because maybe the 30s work sometimes, maybe the 15s work sometimes, maybe the hourlies work sometimes, maybe the 5s work sometimes. It's all... We talk about this in every video, that trades are based off of probabilities, and they don't always work, and that's where the risk comes in, and that's where risk management comes in. So if it's not working, you cut it, and if it's not working, you cut it, and if it does work, let it go. Let the let the candlestick stop you out, let the triggers, let the target stop you out. Now, you can take a trade off of the 30 and hop down to the 15 or the 5 if you'd like, because that will minimize your risk on how much you may lose if it goes the other way. But for me to say when the 15 or when the 30 works better on a certain ticker, I don't know, and I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that could tell you when they would know that's a thing. So T2G, let me know what you're in the Discord. Most of these questions are coming from the Discord, so send me a message. Let me know what that let me know what that means. Your handle. Eric M says, is there a limit on the number of trades you will be in / manage at one time? Tends to be a lot of action around open. Thanks for doing this series. You give the most candid, real answers I have yet to find. Well, Thank you, Eric. I try and be completely honest with you guys. I don't win every trade. If people tell you they win every trade, they're lying. Because people don't win every trade. And I want to be very, very open and very, very honest with you guys. And not everything works out all the time. And again, that's okay. It's part of trading, and it's probabilities. And we trade off of probabilities. And sometimes probabilities aren't what they're meant to be. So the number of trades I am in. So I don't know if when I first started trading options, I used to jump into a lot. But I've come to the realization, would I jump into a bunch of swing trades? Yes, because those are held over a longer time and they're easier to manage. Day trades, I'm only going in at one at a time. Maybe two. But I want to make sure I'm watching and I'm knowing what's going on in that certain time frame when I'm in that day trade, because I'm only in a day trade for 5 minutes to an hour, 2 hours tops, and I don't want to get caught switching back and forth or looking here and looking here and looking here and trying to figure out what's going on and then trying to pull it up on my brokerage to get out in time. So I trade one at a time. Again, that's me. It doesn't have to be you guys. That's the way I do it. And that's become a set of my rules, is to trade one at a time. And unless I'm swing trading and I can jump into multiples there, day trading, it's one for me only. So thanks, Eric. iMany0741 off of the Discord says, hey, I see someone asked this, but could you go over your trading routine from picking the asset to locating the play, then entry and exit, along with picking proper strike price for maximum value? So let's go to this and I can show you exactly, well, partially, because the routine part of it, and the routine part of it is just scanning for plays, and whether it's inside bars or 2-2-2s, but let me go explain it here. Okay, I'm going to try to explain this the best way possible I can. So just because when I trade, I've got the charts on a one computer system, and I've got my brokerage on another system. So I'll try and explain this the best way I can. As you asked about the setups. So the setups are basically any of the Strat setups. So I'm scanning through stocks throughout the day. Lately, it's just been SPY, but I'm scanning through those high liquid stocks like SPY, QQQ, DIA, NEO, Apple, CCL, Ford is another one. And I'm looking for inside bar setups or 2-2 reversal setups, again, with time frame continuity. As for the brokerage side of it, every brokerage is going to look different. So what I'm showing you guys here, may look completely different from what other brokerages are showing you guys. So when we look at this, I basically type in whatever stock I want in here. I can put NEO, and NEO will come up. I can put in SPY, which was on there, and SPY will come up. Okay, and then I have this option here for stocks, which is just common shares or options. But because I trade options, I go into options, and I can pick the quantity. Let's say it's 10. I pick my expiration date. I can pick any. This is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so on and so forth. Okay, so I always take closest expiry when I trade. You don't have to. That's what I do. My strike price, you can see the last price or the current price would be 362.79. And if I'm looking for this to break a trigger to the call side, then I'm taking it at a 363 strike, because I am just above that trigger price of 362.79. This price is, let's say, where I would have my yellow line. Okay, so as soon as it hits that, I'm taking 363 calls, and I can buy puts or calls. Now, normally the market's closed, so normally there would be a bid price and an ask price. Now, you can choose limit, and limit order, you can put in a price of what you want to purchase it at. So with SPY, it doesn't really matter, and I only take high liquid stocks, meaning that the spread between this number and this number is very, very minimal. It's only a few pennies, and those are the stocks that I trade. Unless I'm swing trading, then I'll do a limit order. But for day trades, I pick market order, and it'll take this ask price. So if the price is 240 for the ask, the bid will probably be 239 or 238. But I'll buy that ask. My duration is the day. There's multiple durations you can buy: day, good till canceled, and so on and so forth. But I choose the day, and then that's it. And then I click buy. And that's how I do it. So now on the sell side, once it hits my targets or reversals, I'm watching on one screen, and I am ready on this side to do the same thing. So I will have this same setup set. Okay, when I choose to sell, it'll be a quantity of 10 or 5 or whatever it is. And I'm watching the charts, and as soon as it hits my targets or a reversal, then I'm clicking on this sell button. Okay, and that's it. That's how I manage through Questrade. As for looking for setups, again, I do it the exact same way I do it on the videos. I just search through them and I'm looking, but lately it's just been on SPY. So hopefully this helps you out and is kind of what you were looking for. If not, let me know and we can try and dive into it a little bit further next time. Okay, so the next one comes from Tamar. Tamar says, can you explain how you add the stop loss commands since you are buying options but doing it according to the stock price and not the option price? So as you saw on the screen from the last question, that screen is what I've got on my computer. This screen is what I'll have on my other computer, my other system, my iPad actually. This is what I'll be running off my iPad. So all I'm doing, guys, is I'm watching for these, the entries and the exits, wherever I'm entering, wherever I'm exiting. So even if we go to plug on the, I'm just going to go to the 5 minute, for example, and I'm going to zoom in. And let's say I jump in off of this inside bar to the downside, okay? So I've got my triggers marked, and you don't have to mark these triggers. If you can see them fine. I'm putting them on there for you guys. So I'm looking for, targets to hit here. Let me change that to green. I'm looking for targets to hit there. Okay, then I'm looking for a target to hit right there. Then I'm looking for this target. Then I'm looking for this target, and so on and so forth. And there might be further targets down the line. But then I'm also looking for a reversal. So then I have my stop losses in place as well. Okay, so when I break that inside bar and I go down, this is my stop loss. Then when I'm on this candle, the top of this is my stop loss. And then this is my stop loss. Then this is my stop loss. And we barely broke that, so I'd probably still be in it. And then this is my stop loss. Then this is my stop loss. And then I'm out. Or you use the targets, whichever. But this is what I'm looking at on one screen, and then I'm looking at my brokerage account on the other screen. Not even looking, but I'm ready to make sure I'm ready to sell. So when it reverses. So I'm watching here, and as soon as this candle reverses back through, then I can get out of the trade, and I just click sell and I'm out. Okay, and that's all I do. So I'm moving these lines as I go mentally. I don't need these lines on here, but I'm putting them on here for a visual for you guys. So as soon as we trigger back through those lines on a reversal, or I hit my targets or whatever it is, wherever I take my profit, I've got that other screen open and I'm ready to sell when I need to sell. So 10 volume, I'm guessing that's 10 volume 79. When you have set either a trigger for entry or a stop level for exit, do you execute based on price, just barely going past it, possibly forming a wick, or do you wait for the body of the candle to pass the level and remain past it? Okay, so let's go answer that right now. Okay, I'm going to try and answer this the best way I can. So what was asked is, and this is going to be a little bit difficult to show here. Let's do this, okay? Let's say I was looking to play this 2-2 continuation, okay? Off of this candle. So I'm looking for this candle right here to go 2 down, okay, as a continuation. But what he's asking I get what he's saying, but it doesn't make sense. So he's saying, do you wait for the whole body to pass through this line? Well, and maybe I'm misunderstanding the question. So when this candle opens and comes through, well, the body's already past that line. And when it reverses, that's what creates the wick. So when you're saying, do you wait for the whole body to pass through that trigger? Well, once that candlestick goes through the trigger, the body has passed through the trigger. And once it reverses back up, so let's zoom in on this. This candle opened and it came down this far. But when it reversed back up, that's what created the wick. Okay? So on all of these, at some point, these candles opened here and came up. And when it came back down, it created the wick. Okay? That's what creates the wick. And I hope you guys understand that, because once this goes through the trigger, that's when you would jump into the trade. Okay? You're not waiting for you can't wait for a wick to come through, because the body of the candle comes through, not the wick. And maybe if you're asking, about gaps. If you're asking about a gap, that's a completely different thing, and I can answer that later on. But to me, the way I was reading it was the wick coming through or the body coming through. Well, the body coming down and reversing creates this wick. So again, hopefully that answered your question. I take the body through that trigger. If that candle passes through that trigger, that is your signal to get into the trade. That puts the trade into force. Okay? Okay, so hopefully that helped you out. Phantom, this is one of the gold members, so thanks for the question, Phantom. I've had a couple great, I think one for sure great one-on-one with him. I can't remember if it's been one or two, but Phantom asks, targets come quick and could miss entry. When you know your entry target, how do you set up your price to get into the entry? So targets come quick and could miss the entry. When you know your entry target. So again, I've gone through this before, and I talked about it in the video prior to, from iMany0741, that I've got two screens set up. So I've got my triggers marked. My triggers are marked on TradingView, and I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to go on my brokerage, and it passes through that trigger, and I'm in the trade. If it moves too fast and I miss it, I do not go chasing it. Again, that's a me rule. And it doesn't have to be you. You can still jump into it if it breaks through that trigger. But for me, if it passes and it's gone, it's not something I'm jumping into. I'll go look for the next trade. Okay. So Caliman asks from the Discord, what's a good way to narrow down a watch list? I find sometimes I have too many tickers on watch, and it's hard to watch more than the 5. I'm guessing he's saying 5 in a day. So let's go answer that right here. So how I narrow down my list comes down to a lot of different things. So I look for, time frame continuity is one of the things I look for. I look for, if I can have the majority of the time frame in one direction, then that will give me a higher conviction that that trade is going to go green in the morning. Okay? Or I look for things like, so this is Monday's watch list. I look for things like this. I just look for 2 downs green, full time frame continuity. I look for high liquid, cheap, not necessarily cheap premiums, but low spreads between the bid and the ask. This one's kind of running off the bottom of a broadening formation. So does it have room to run up? Okay, that's another thing I look at. So we've come down and we've kind of been using this broadening formation as resistance. And now are we going to start using it as support and see if it comes back up? Here's another one. Again, inside bars. I like to play those inside bars. 3-1 setups, okay? Different items like that, and it's a bunch of different things how I narrow it down, but this is a small list, but most times I'll look at high liquid stocks like Apple or AMD or SPY or QQQ or NEO, and I'll look at stuff like that, and that's how I'll try and narrow down that list. Okay, and then I've got another one here. This one's from Twitter. Maurice Naylor says, intraday, is it high probability to trade reversals into a 1 hour green and a daily green? So he's talking about the time frame continuity being both green on the hourly and the daily, off of the 15-minute chart. For instance, if the previous day was green, but the week is red, but on the 15-minute chart there's a 2 down and 2 up, would you play 2 up into time frame continuity? So the time frame continuity daily chart is not, I guess, I don't know if you're asking intraday. So the daily is based off of that current day. It's not based off of the previous day. It's based off of that current day. The week off of the current week. The quarterly off of that current 3 month. Just like the 15-minute is a current 15-minute. So if you're asking me, would I play a 2 up into time frame continuity if the week was red, but the day and the hourly were green? Then yes. Because if I'm looking for a weekly trade, then no, I want those two in the same direction if I'm doing a swing trade. But if we're looking at the 15-minute chart and we're looking to day trade this thing or scalp this thing, then I want that hourly and I want that daily in the same direction. I want it both green or both red if I'm taking puts, but I'm taking a 15-minute trade, I want them both the same color. So guys, I really hope you're enjoying these episodes. Let me know in the comment section below if you are. Give me a thumbs up if you think they're helpful to you guys, and if they're not, then I don't need to continue to do them. But if they're helping you guys out, I love doing them and I don't mind doing them. So let me know if they help you guys out, if they work for you guys, and make sure you're checking everything out. So everything that I have to offer is in the description below. The Trading View, I have a free 30-day trial down below. You click that link, you get a free 30-day trial to their subscription-based services, and then you get up to $30 off if you decide to use their subscription. Also, the Griswold Trading Discord. Get in there, ask questions, get your questions answered. Everything that I offer for free or fee-based is in that Discord. So the Griswold Gold membership is in there. It's $50 a month. It offers you guys a ton of great stuff. It gives you the Trading View indicator. It gives you the live trading bots, which gives you live setups throughout the day. It gives you one-on-ones with me every month, group chats with the gold members. There's a 1-hour strat course in there that I've got for you guys. The top 5 go in with the gold members. Ad-free YouTube videos for the watch list. So all kinds of really good stuff in there. Go check it out. And I wish you guys nothing but the best in trading, and we will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.